Hi, it's me. And today, I'm going to share with you some amazing facts about penguins. Let's get started. No one. There are only two places in the world where you can find penguins: Antarctica and the Galapagos Islands. The Galapagos Islands are located in Ecuador, 100 kilometers west of mainland Ecuador and 96 kilometers east of the Colombian mainland. Although they belong to Ecuador, they have their own special status as a province of this country. These volcanic islands spread over 45,000 square kilometers and are home to many animal species that cannot be found anywhere else in the world. It is one of the most famous nature reserves in the world and attracts tens of thousands of tourists every year. But why are there penguins in the Galapagos? Scientists think they arrived there about 4 to 6 million years ago, when the ancestors of modern day. Penguins flew from Antarctica to the Galapagos and evolved into a separate subspecies due to isolation. Number 2. There are 18 penguin species alive today. Their sizes vary greatly. The smallest species is the little blue penguin, which is also known as the fairy penguin or the blue penguin. They are only 33 centimeters tall and weigh up to 1 kilogram. On average, they are lighter than chickens. The largest species is the emperor penguin. They are up to 1.3 meters tall and weigh up to 45 kilograms. That's like having a weight of a polar bear. Fun fact, the heaviest penguin ever recorded weighed 60 kilograms. This was an emperor penguin named Happy Feet. He lived in the late 90s at the Philadelphia Zoo. Number 3. Emperor penguins are also the tallest penguins. They hold the record for the longest dive. An emperor penguin dove more than 2,000 meters deep into the water. It's deeper than a 20-story building. Also, it could swim almost 50 kilometers per hour and stayed underwater for more than 40 minutes. Adelie penguins also often dive to great depths. A study conducted in 2009 found that penguins in Antarctica can reach maximum dive depths of 350 meters. That's nearly 1,100 feet. Researchers also found that these birds can stay underwater for around 70 minutes. Despite being flightless, penguins are excellent swimmers. Because of their flattened, streamlined bodies, stiff, narrow wings, short necks and feet with webbed toes, they're perfectly adapted for life in the water. No, for some penguins can fly. Not all penguins can only fly in their dreams. Penguins are actually the closest living relatives of the extinct great auk, an enormous flightless bird that once inhabited the North Atlantic. Great auks were about the size of penguins today, but they had wings. So maybe if penguins hadn't been so lazy and had continued to exercise their wings, they would still be able to fly.
Yes.
If we compare the wing structure of penguins with that of albatrosses, we'll find that they're very similar. In fact, if penguins had larger breast muscles and smaller skeletons, they would be able to fly just like albatrosses. One day a penguin may return to the sky again. No. 5 male penguins incubate eggs. For example, male emperor penguins fast for months while incubating their eggs. They huddle together in groups and rotate around the egg, taking turns to warm it with their bodies. During nesting, males lose about 30% of their body weight. Sometimes the male penguin has to make up to 16 round trips to the sea to bring food for its partner. The female penguin can travel twice as far in search of food than the male. However, male penguins are generally better hunters than females. No. 6. A group of penguins is called a colony. It can range from a few dozen individuals to thousands of birds. Penguins live in colonies for safety in numbers, especially since they tend to attract predators such as leopard seals and killer whales. A large colony protects many penguins from becoming someone's dinner. Also, if the penguins huddle close together, they can reduce heat loss. They take turns resting in the center of the colony, enjoying the warmth of other penguins. When one penguin leaves the colony, another takes its place in the center. Number 7. You can tell a penguin's gender by its belly. Female penguins have a white belly, while males have a black belly. Sometimes people get confused because sometimes males also have white spots on their bellies. But if you look closely, you'll see that these spots are actually just light reflections. Male penguins always have a black belly, while females have a white belly. Interestingly, in the early days of filming March of the Penguins, a documentary about emperor penguin colonies in Antarctica, the film crew thought they were filming a male penguin with a white spot on its belly. It turned out to be a female who laid an egg, so you can tell a penguin's gender by its belly. Of course, if it's not laying an egg, you better not go too close to the penguin to check its belly. Penguins bite and are not afraid to attack humans. In addition to bites, they can scratch and beat with their flippers. Number 8. A penguin can drink seawater. While most birds can't, they excrete excess salt through their kidneys. Penguins swallow seawater along with their food, and then they excrete the excess salt in the form of urine. Number 9. People used to think that penguins could only live in cold climates. However, scientists recently discovered that penguins can adapt to new conditions quite quickly. King penguins were moved from a cold climate to the Galapagos Islands and soon learned to tolerate high temperatures. Number 10. Penguins mate for life. Well, most of them do, but some may have multiple partners during their lifetime. They generally choose their partners based on their height. Shorter penguins prefer taller partners. However, same-sex penguins are not uncommon. In 2018, for the first time in history, a same-sex penguin couple hatched a chick at a zoo in Dresden, Germany. The two female penguins had adopted an abandoned egg and successfully hatched it. So penguins don't care about the gender of their partners. Number 11. In zoos, penguins are fed fish and meat, but in the wild they eat only seafood. Penguins have no natural enemies except humans. Therefore, they have no reason to be afraid of anything when hunting. They enter the water and look for food right at the surface. They mainly eat krill, squid, and small fish. Sometimes penguins have to dive to a depth of 350 meters to catch prey. They need a lot of energy for this. So before diving, they take air, which they keep in their lungs throughout the dive. They use it to sustain themselves when hunting. The amount of oxygen in the blood of penguins is much higher than that of mammals living in the same cold climate. Thanks to this, they can stay underwater longer than any mammal. Number 12. Penguins can recognize each other by their voices. Each penguin has a unique voice. When they meet, they greet each other by name. Scientists think that this helps them maintain order within the colony. Number 13. Penguins sleep while standing. Moreover, they never lie down completely. Even when they're on land, they always sleep while standing and leaning against each other. This is necessary so that they can quickly escape from predators. In case of danger, if a penguin lies down, it may not get up. Number 14. Every penguin has its own poop spot. When penguins go to the bathroom, they always try to do it in the same place. Amazingly, penguins can control their bowel movements. If they want to go to the bathroom, they squat like dogs and even lift their tails like cats. And here we come to the last, number 15. There's a special species of jellyfish that paralyzes penguins. It's the only predator that can hunt penguins. The main weapon of this jellyfish is its stinging cells. When they hit the skin of a penguin, it experiences excruciating pain and paralysis. Jellyfish are considered one of the few natural enemies of penguins. Once a diver saw how a jellyfish paralyzed a penguin, and after a minute, it died. Fortunately, there are practically no jellyfish in the Galapagos Islands, only in Antarctica. Divers often encounter them there. That's all for today. Which fact about penguins did you like the most? Write about it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. See you later.